hope you're okay and all is working for you. Today I want to talk about dysfunctional families. I want to do like a series where I talk about dysfunction in families, but talking about different aspects. Today I will take a specific angle, and I'm going to talk about dysfunctional families that are Christian. And the angle that I'm going to talk about is father-daughter relationship. And I feel like that's a very important topic. So when you grow up, let's just say in a family in general, as a woman, as a girl, the person who teaches you, the first man who shows you how women should be treated is your dad. The first man who shows you how women should be spoken to is your dad. The first man who shows you how women should, who shows you a type of love and teaches you a lot about receiving it is your dad. So a big part of the footprint of how you receive love as a woman, of how you think about yourself, how you carry yourself, about how you talk to yourself, especially vis-a-vis to men, the first person who teaches you how that works is your dad. And I'm going to talk in the African concept, and I have seen a lot of families that are dysfunctional because the dynamic father-daughter is chaotic, in the sense where there are girls who are in their 20s, in their, in their teen years, whatever it is, that have never received a compliment from their dad. Whenever their dad speaks to them, he always speaks with a harsh tone. He's always shouting. He never asks kindly, never speaks to them kindly. He never really speaks to them with respect, because that is his understanding of how you should be educated, maybe because of how he was taught. But without knowing, he builds a footprint for how you view men. Without knowing, he builds a footprint for how men should treat you. There are a lot of women now who are with men who speak to them anyhow and are okay with it because that's what their dad taught them. That's how their dad spoke to them. And it was deemed acceptable when they were growing up, so why change it now? And I hear a lot of people complaining about a lot of decisions women make today. A lot of decisions, les femmes ne sont pas soumises. Bon, women are not submitted, as people say, because anyway, that's a whole other conversation. Or women want to do things on their own. Women want to do this and this. I believe that the reality, if you really want to understand how a woman behaves, go back to how she grew up. Grow up to what kind of father she had and how he treated her. I think you will have incredible women who are God-fearing. As I was talking about the aspect of that, if their dad teach them that, if their dad speak to them a certain way, if their dad teach them how to receive love from men, because your dad is the first person that teaches you how to receive love from men. But I think in the way, especially in my generational ways, our parents didn't really have a grasp on the emotional side of raising us. They just cared about us going to school and getting good grades and getting good jobs, which is great because that's a cycle they broke for themselves. Maybe when they were younger, their parents couldn't afford to take them in good schools or didn't value education. So then they decided for their kids they will value education. But education is not the only thing. So there's that. Let me go back to the father and daughter duo. What I was trying to say with every information I've been able to give is that a big part of why a lot of women are insecure today, a lot of women have a lot of self-esteem issues, a lot of women don't really know how to act around men or to receive love from men or to just be around men, because their dad didn't give them a nice footprint. They taught them from young, women shouldn't be with men. They feed girls shouldn't be where boys are. Look at me mixing languages. Anyway, girls shouldn't be where boys are. So in a lot of ways, especially in African setting, girls were taught that boys are dangerous, that boys are trying to take something from you. Boys are trying to hurt you. Even with that, there is still a strange expectation that later on, after you have taught me to not be around boys, to not trust them, to never do anything when it comes to having any type of relationship with them, you want me to marry one? You want me to live in a house with the person you have taught me my whole life that I should be worried about, that I should be afraid of, because girls and boys cannot have relationships that are sane, that are friendship, that are pure, or that don't that won't hurt your values, but later on somehow there's an expectation that I'll be able to be a good wife, that I'll be able be able to keep a home. It's true, women are more taught about marriage than men as we grow up, but most women are taught from a young age to not be around men, to not, if they see you around men, you are, what's the word they use? I'm not finding the right word. What I'm saying, I'm getting to too many things. The essence of what I'm trying to say is that a lot of things that affect women's relationship with men is because they did not have a proper example as they were growing up. Their dad didn't feel like it was their job to raise them, especially when it comes to girls. The issue with that aspect of the father and daughter duo type of relationship that is dysfunctional is that the fathers let the raising for girls to only their moms. They didn't understand that there are some things that only your father can teach you, especially when it comes to receiving love from a man, when it comes to accepting a way to be spoken to by a man, when it comes to living around a man, like in so many areas of what being with a man is. We look like when you are young, when you're still a child and you're a girl, the person who should teach you what that looks like is your dad. But a lot of dads don't have any type of relationship with their daughters. They let anything go with their mom. And I also understand, I will not be blind to it, that there are a lot of father-daughter relationship that have end up being abusive, in a sense where fathers abuse of their daughters. I'm not trying to be insensitive in any kind of way, but I'm just trying to show one of the big issue that comes with that duo is that fathers don't really raise their daughters. Fathers don't teach their daughters anything. They let their mom talk to them about boys. They let their mom talk to them about periods. They let their mom talk to them about all the things, how they will do life. But fathers don't raise their daughters. They just tell them what not to do. Just tell them, don't talk to boys. Don't get pregnant. Get a degree. Don't be rude. But they don't really take time to raise their daughters. And I think if we want to get to a point where we raise daughters who are God-fearing, who are extremely confident in who they are, who will not settle for less, who will represent God in the best way possible, they have to be taught that. And what better way for me to be taught how to be a great woman, how to be in this world, how to be a great wife in this world, than by my dad, who will teach me this is how men think, this is how you should value yourself, this is what men do, this is how you should carry yourself. But we don't have that, because in African communities they have left the raising of the children to their mothers. I'm not saying that mothers don't do a good job, but there's just something only a dad can do for a child. And this is a father and daughter duo that I'm talking about. So one of the big reasons for the dysfunction is because fathers don't raise their daughters. And I think they should. You are not trusted to be the leader of a home so that you can tell people what to do. You are trusted to be the leader of a house so you can also give your kids identity. And the issue with the fact that the father and daughter duo is dysfunctional is because fathers don't understand that girls will get a big part of their identity, of their self-worth, of their esteem from you. The percentage of girls who are the most, I think there was a research that was done, I don't remember where. If I remember, I'll talk about it in my next video when I'll talk about the next type of angle, is that most girls who grow up with their father being present in every step of their lives grow up more confident, end up making way better decisions, end up caring about themselves more than girls who grow up without a father, or with a father that is absent even though he's in the house. So I think the issue is we have for some people, sadly, they don't grow up with a dad, so that just is a whole other conversation. But there's some people who grow up with dads in the home but absent in their lives. And I feel like if, as a Christian, you want to build a family that is not dysfunctional, and God blesses you and you're a man, and God blesses you with daughters, be a dad at every stage. What is that? Anyway, Be a dad at every stage of their lives. Show up at every stage of their life. Don't be the, because a lot of dads that I was saying who don't compliment their daughters. So what I just lost my thoughts just with that. Who don't compliment their daughters, who don't talk nicely to their daughters. So the way you talk to your daughters, they put it in their brain. That's how men talk. That's how men talk to me, and they will end up with men who treat them wrong because just didn't give the right example. So if you want, for the father and daughter duo, if God blesses you enough to be a dad, I'm taking it for the perspective that I am someone's daughter, and my dad is incredible, and he's the most quiet man. He's the kindest man. He's very smart, and there's a lot of my confidence that I got from my dad, because from being young, my dad always used to tell me I was smart. So even now, I could lack confidence in so many things, but I will never lack confidence in the fact that I'm smart, because that's something that my dad reminded me all the time. My dad used to tell me that men will respect a smart woman, and I was like, swear. So and that's something that I valued, because I was like, okay, Papa said that men will value smart women. I will do my best to be smart and make good decisions. So, and that has kept me, even though I've gone through so many phases of life where I lost confidence in a lot of things. That is something that I've never really lost confidence in being intelligent. All that because I have a dad who instilled that in me. So one of the reasons why the reason why I'm saying this is because, and I'm not talking from a perspective of a dad, because I'm not one. I'm just talking from the perspective of a daughter. There will be so many more women who are able to be great wives, who are able to be great people in society, if they have a great dad who invests the time in being their lives, who is a dad at every stage of their life. I want to insist on this because I feel like parents fail to be parents at every stage of their kids' life. They feel like now that you've grown, you're on your own, you can take care of yourself. Your children shouldn't feel like they're in. It's true, when you grow up, you should have a level of independence, but you should still be able to go back to your parents if you need something. You should still be able to go back to your parents for every stage of your lives. But in African settings, parents don't have really the emotional capacity to be parent at every stage of their kids' life, and that's very difficult. And I think one thing that will help is counseling, but most families don't believe in counseling. They don't want to tell their problems. They don't want to feel judged. They don't want to feel like people will tell their business. But I feel like we're getting to a point where counseling is going to become important. So yeah, that was my 2 cents on the subject. I know a lot of girls listen to my videos, unless I'm delusional, and I hope I'm not. So just tell me, you can write me in the comments or write me in the chat what you think about this conversation. Do you agree in the sense where fathers should be more present, should compliment their daughter more, should spend more time with their daughter, or you don't agree, or what kind of dad did you grow up with? If you feel comfortable telling me. And yeah, if you feel comfortable, you can just DM me and we can have a conversation. I will appreciate that. So blessings.